Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And now Senator Capito, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today. Very much appreciate this. I'd like to ask Mr. Kravitz a question about it. I understand what you're doing would be under the term advanced recycling. Are you taking like single-use plastics and making them more advanced plastic materials, or how is that process without getting too technical?
Okay, thank you for the question.
Yes.
Advanced recycling is basically 3 families of technologies that take different types of plastics and bring them back to feedstock to produce new plastic. What my company does is, in the pyrolysis space, enables a pyrolysis to operate economically and efficiently by adding what we think is missing in the mix, which is a carbon nanotube. So that's one technology. A second technology is the ability to depolymerize, so break down any type of plastic into its building blocks so we can make new plastic again.
Can we do that now?
Technically, it's possible, yes.
Is it affordable?
Yes.
And so I guess my big question on all of these issues, because we have 2 recycling bills that we're hoping to get all the way through, and they're sort of, they're pretty easy. I live in rural America, and we have a lot. We don't have the opportunity for recyclability through our municipalities too much. It's not widespread. How do we get this topic down to the everyday user of plastic? I know the big industrial users are probably the ones that we're looking at here, but how do you relate this very sort of technical issue to everyday people, whether they're in an ag community or a rural community? So I'll start with you, Dr. Erickson.
How do we communicate this problem, the challenges
Simply,
to rural America?
Yeah.
I think you can explain to people some of the human health concerns, and the research is coming out very quickly showing the impacts of micro and nanoplastics. I think talking to people about the impacts on wildlife and the impact on their pocketbook, what the true costs are to try to capture single-use plastics and bring it back into a waste stream. So I think you can talk about the human health, the wildlife impacts, but also the bottom line, what it costs them and their communities.
All right, Ms. Simon?
Yeah, just building on that, I think in that communication we help to educate them, we empower them with easy actions, right? Today it requires some sort of decoder ring to figure out what goes in your recycling bin, and it needs to be easier for them to be able to do it. So we need to design in more standardization to make it so that it's not up to the consumer to figure out how to recycle or compost their materials.
So if we're looking at landfills, for instance, which has all kinds of different waste going in, is there a movement now, and I'll get to you again on Mr. Kravitz on that first question, is there a availability working with the landfill owners to be able to successfully separate out and make that an economic model as well?
Coming from landfills? Mm-hmm. I have not done that research to understand what would happen if we recaptured material from our landfills, but I will say there is probably a lot of high-value material in our landfills today, and considering how resource-constrained we are, it would probably be interesting to research that, but I don't have that data for you, I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Kravitz, I'll give you that question, that one I just asked, and then the one before, if you want to give me some, how do you translate this down to the regular consumer in terms of the importance of this?
So I do agree with what has been said before and educating the consumers. I do think, and the premise of my company is that plastic is valuable, and recycling companies, advanced recycling companies, will have to pay for plastic. So making plastic a reusable material avoids or changes the concept of being waste. So if you consider plastic waste, okay, so we're throwing it away. But if it has a value and it's reusable, then the mindset might change that we can actually start recycling. Then, of course, you need to build the infrastructure and start recycling and prove it at scale. But the shift in thinking of this as waste or used recyclable plastic, I think is key.
Well, if we look at what we've done with paper, I mean, paper is looked at as recyclable, I think. You know, when you see newspapers or any kind of paper. It used to be, when that started in the 70s, you'd see a little print on the bottom of your stationery, this paper is recyclable. That was like unusual. Now, we just, I think, I don't think we assume everything's been recycled, but a lot of it has been. Do you envision a time when plastics with advanced recycling could get to that point?
Yes, for sure. That's what's going on. I've been in this for a few years now. I've been going to different events throughout the world, and now the whole value chain is talking. And this is a massive collaboration between plastic manufacturers, transformers, brands, and advanced recycling companies. So I think we're getting there. Now the technologies have to scale. Companies like mine that have developed disruptive technologies on taking charge at all the plastics that can be recycled, not just single stream, I think will make a difference.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Whoa, Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks, Chairman. Just for the record, I don't think